Fellow member and guest, LMAX show will coming soon. Coming in 10 seconds. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome. Welcome to LMAX show. It's a great honor to invite the newborn champion of District 67 International Speech Contest. He's also our current president. Let's welcome Anson Sack.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for having me on the show. I just want to say you really helped me a lot in this competition, and how appropriate. You're the founding president, and it's nice to see you smile every day.
I believe that our audience have many questions want to ask you. I think you can let us know by this chance. Okay, the following is my question. My first question is, how do you get this idea for your speech?
Well, for those who listen to my speech, it really was inspired by my son. Because when my son was born, he wasn't born with an instruction manual. And so when I held him in my arms, I thought to myself, how am I going to raise this child? And when I thought back to my father, I thought, wow, he really isn't the model parent that I have. So I went all the way back as far as I could remember in terms of stories being told about my grandfather and the sacrifices that my grandfather made and my father made. And I thought, well, if I put together all those factors, then yeah, maybe I could be a good father.
Okay, and how did you prepare for it? Oh.
Lots and lots of practice. Actually, the writing process itself is really, when an idea comes, you try to build on that. So I thought of, my initial title was, Daddy, How Much Do You Love Me? And then that actually became the premise. And so I just built the speech around that.
Okay, when you prepare your speech, do you feel roadblocks, your bottleneck? How do you overcome it?
That's a very good question. Whenever I stumble into a writing block, I think to myself, what exactly, I go back to the basics and I think, what exactly does the audience go home with? What do they take home? Why am I telling them about a father's love? And I did run into many blocks, and I thought, well, maybe the things that I had didn't go in the right direction. So I actually had to eliminate some points and then go back to the basic point, which is a father's love. And I wanted the audience to go home thinking about their own father and how they express their love to their children.
Okay. It's the first time you came into the district level. How do you feel standing in front of almost 400 people and deliver your speech?
It's actually quite peaceful. Many people have come up to me and say, you're going to the big stage. But in fact, when you do get on the big stage, you're actually looking down at the audience. And when you're in that position, you actually feel like I'm the man, and they're here to listen to what you have to say. And so Eric, who commented on that, he asked me, from the semifinal to the final, there was actually a big difference. What was it? And I told him it was the stage. He said, the stage. I said, yes, the stage. Do I have to say stage again?
Okay. Who, if any, help mentor you you in your preparation, and how did he or she help you?
Well, Jonathan, that's a rhetorical question because you're sitting beside me. Jonathan, you played a big role, and John Huang, a past president of ALMax, he came out to give great advice on how to deliver a championship-winning speech because he had gone to the district level twice. And Lillian Chen, who is a very experienced Toastmaster, she also helped a lot too. And each time that, almost every meeting, I had advice from everyone. So, thanks.
Okay, let's talk about your Toastmaster experience. How long have you heard about Toastmaster, and how long did you take your decision to decide to join us?
I'd heard about Toastmasters about 2.5 years ago, and it really only took a matter of months to visit the first club, which is Scientech, and which was really funny because I intended to join Scientech until I made a very embarrassing mistake by saying the president's name wrong. It's Jenna, not Jennifer.
Very impressive. And as a native English speaker, how has Toastmaster helped you personally to become a better speaker?
In fact, being a native speaker put a lot of pressure on me because there's an impression that because I can speak English well would mean by default I could speak well in front of people, which is it's a misconception because there are so many Toastmaster clubs in America, and you can't go to those clubs and say to them, well, their English must be terrible. No, it's completely different. Just because you're a native speaker doesn't mean that you can speak well in front of people.
So you learn a lot from the Toastmasters Club.
I gotta really thank Toastmasters because Toastmasters taught me a lot, and ALMax really pushed me hard to perform.
As a champion, you will represent Taiwan. What were your thoughts on competing at the next level, and how will you prepare for it?
Well, my strategy for the district competition was to deliver a very touching speech, a speech that really hits the core. And I encourage all my members to do the same. When you deliver a speech, it has to touch people's heart. Every time you will improve. So I plan to take my speech to another level. I will refine my speech so that's more internationally accepted, but the core message will still be the same. And when I write I have to prepare 2 speeches, so the championship speech, should I make it through the semifinals, I'll have to make that as well a speech that people will talk about for many years to come.
So you actually came into the present our club to join the contest twice. How do you feel the difference the first time and this time?
Well, the first contest I ever. Are you talking about this year or?
No. Before you present ALMax to join the Division D contest.
Well, the first time I participated in a contest, I gotta say I didn't take it very seriously. It was a humorous contest, but I didn't know anything about writing speeches. I didn't practice very well, and the message, I remember very clearly the message in my humorous speech was on the edge of acceptable. So I learned a lot from that, and this time around I really want to present myself, because I'm the president, there's a lot of pressure. I want to present myself as really someone who would want to win it all.
Okay. So this do you get nervous this time when you stand on the stage in front of 400 people?
Surprisingly, no. The reason, and that's surprising for me too, because when I was on the stage and testing the microphone, and everyone can benefit from this, you have to declare that stage belongs to you. And when you do that, and when you get on the stage, you feel like you're at home, and that you have something to say, and that the people are there to listen. So I wasn't nervous at all. The semifinals, actually I was a little nervous because the speaking area is no larger than this area. And I had been practicing for big movements. So I was afraid that I would jump out of bounds. Yeah.
So what's the best part about your speech and what's the weakness?
It's a very interesting question. The part that I felt was the strongest was actually the weakest. And that's actually at the end. People were very touched at the end, but in structurally wise, it wasn't the greatest. What I did at the end was just summarize my speech, that as a father, I would forgive my son. My father really expected a lot out of me, and my grandfather just wanted my father to live. So I put all those three together and express it like I'm saying it to my son, which was very touching, but I think that is one part I'm going to improve. And the other part too is the Taiwanese audience would relate to what happened in World War II. But when I do this speech in America, there will be a lack of connection. So I would need to engage the audience more in the beginning of my speech. So that's what I would change.
Okay, thank you, come our show, and wish you can get a greater rank in the next level.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anson San.